Guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today is day 14 of Ethany's hashtag 31 Days of Tarot 2019. Loki just walked into the room, so it's gonna be a good video. So today's prompt asks, which cards give us the most insight by way of symbology and imagery, as opposed to just knowledge of the cards and intuition. I think that, you know, a lot of the imagery in my decks is kind of what helps me helps out my intuition and you know, connects with my knowledge. I don't know, it just kind of like all works in tandem. But, you know, if I'm just looking at like what is on the cards, and let's say I'm not the one reading them and I were to give them to somebody, I think that somebody else would be able to get a lot out of them if they had like no knowledge of the tarot. So I have chosen 3 decks, and the first of those decks was really easy. And ooh, the sun is poking through the clouds. That's nice. And that is the Voyager Tarot, and this one is by James Waneless, PhD, or Wanless. The artist is Ken Knutson, and I don't know, this was like kind of like a deck that I got it near the beginning of my tarot journey. The cards are kind of big, kind of like oracle size. That's actually the slice of like a cell, which is pretty cool. And there's so much going on in these cards that, you know, if you didn't know what 10 of Worlds, or aka like 10 of Pentacles was, well, there's like a keyword up here, but also there's just a lot going on in the cards. So I think that the imagery and the symbolism that's going on in here is just like crazy. You know, I have a friend of mine, I busted this out with her probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And she doesn't know like how to read tarot, like anything about it. And I brought this deck out for her, and I told her, you know, if I pull these 3 cards based on the question you asked, what would you get? And I don't know, it's what I would have gotten too. So, you know, I think it's really, really easy for people to, oh, hey, I just realized this deck has Loki. But see, when I got it, there was no Loki, so pretty cool. So yeah, I think this deck is rich in symbolism and in imagery. The next deck on my list, whoa, I'm like so bright, is the Starchild Tarot. And that one is by Danielle Noel, or Noel. And yeah, I love this deck so much. It's been used quite a bit. Again, it's one of those decks, oh, by the way, there's that like matte gold finish, which is freaking awesome. These are the backs. Again, I think that you could look at what's going on here, the symbolism that's going on in these photos, or in this, you know, kind of collage, and I think you would be able to understand, you know, what you're meant to get out of the card. So again, if you didn't know anything about you know, tarot, and okay, so you have here like the Page of Cups, and you're like, I don't know, like what is the Page of Cups? But you know, you look in here, you see this woman, it kind of looks like she's like got this little cup in her hand, she's got this light, she's kind of got a hand on her heart, there's all this stuff going on in here. You could get something out of it that would be, I think, pretty close to what the actual meaning of the card is. So that's why I love the Starchild Tarot. And plus there's like other stuff in there that's like not really like Rider-Waite-Smithy, which I think is cool, because I do like to pull from the images and you know, and use my knowledge and use my intuition, and I think it comes together rather nicely. Ooh, yes, I dig it. And this deck is going well with my nails right now. So yes, definitely the Starchild. All right, and then my last pick is one of my fave decks, and I don't bust it out often because it's very special and I don't want to ruin it. And it is the Journey into Egypt Tarot by Julie Kuchia Watts. And I busted this out like a live chat and a half ago. Yeah, and just what's going on in these cards is freaking awesome. Okay, so these cards are massive, and these are the backs. And I love Egypt. Like, Egypt is my soul. That's where my soul is. So there's a lot going on in here. Okay, so here we have the 10 of coins. And you're like, I don't know what the 10 of coins is. And I had picked all these 3 decks based on, like, if somebody had no knowledge of the tarot, could they get a lot out of a reading just based on the pictures and based on the symbolism. Okay, so it's like, okay, I don't know what the 10 of coins is. But at the bottom here, there's some astrology stuff. So it says first 10 days of the full moon cycle in Gemini. Okay, well, I'm a Gemini. And maybe you kind of know what like full moon and new moon is. Maybe you don't know maybe all the phases, but you're like, okay, so that's kind of like everything coming together, and then afterwards releasing. Interesting. And then you see like there's this like boat here. It looks like people are partying or getting ready for a journey. You see these coins on an ankh. You know, there's a lot going on. You see like, you know, structures in the background, the stars in the sky. I think that you could, you know, get a lot from this. I think you don't even have to like read it like a tarot. I think, you know, I think you could kind of read it like an oracle deck, but I think you might end up landing on the meanings of the tarot, just because the images are so rich and so beautiful. Ah, yes. I love to just sometimes flip through this deck, and I love it so much. And I just don't read with it super often, just because I'm afraid I'm gonna damage it, even though it's a favorite. But it was like quite expensive, and like if I damage this one or something happens to the cards, like replacing it would be quite pricey. So yeah. All right, so that's it, you guys. That was day 14 of hashtag 31 Days of Tarot 2019, put on by the one and only Ethany. And those were my decks that I believe are rich enough in symbolism and imagery, where you know, I don't really have to rely on my intuition, although for me it's like tandem, like goes hand in hand. I can't really shut off my intuition. And you know, and my knowledge of the cards. So if somebody were to have no knowledge of tarot, and they somehow were not as open with their intuition, I think that they could get really good readings out of those cards anyway. All right, so if you have any comments or questions, place those down below. I will make sure to get back to them. And yeah, if you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading with me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. And I will catch you spiritual homies later. All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.